All right, boys and girls, we are going to make our Ted Harrison inspired polar bear landscape. And like I promised before, this week we are going to use our watercolors. So you're going to need your watercolors. You're going to need a cup. This is the cup that came with the kit. Check it for cracks. If it's cracked, you may have to use a different cup. Any cup will work. These break easily. Perhaps you have something stronger. A brush. We're going to go over proper brush use today. You don't have to have it. You may want your eraser, your pencil sharpener, and boys and girls, this is how you put the pencil in and you turn it. It's for my friends who are just starting school this year. And there you go. So I can put this away. We're using an eraser. Crayons, you only need one crayon today, and the only crayon you need is going to be the black one. So I'm going to put the rest of my crayons to the side. I'm going to put my watercolors to the side, and we're going to get started on our Harrison table. So I'm going to go into my sketch pad, and you can do your work right in your sketch pad. I have a scrap of paper that I use for protecting other papers. I do not want this to get wet underneath or ruined. So, and I'm going to keep my paper in here until next week. So we're going to do a landscape. The landscape has a foreground, and our polar bear is right in the front, a middle ground, and a background way over there. Our sky goes from the top of the paper all the way down to where the land is. So all of this is sky or negative space. So we are only making the land this week. So the first thing I'm going to do is figure out where is my background going to end. So this is what we call in art. I'm going to draw it with crayon. Like I said, I'm going to use black crayon. I'm going to use the back of the crayon. You know, Miss M likes to use the back of the crayon because it makes a nice thick line. Unless I'm doing little teeny tiny spaces, then I use the point. I want to keep the point for teeny tiny spaces. The back is for a thick line. So I'm just going to draw a nice thick line, boom, right across. Just like that. And I might even go over it very carefully. Take your time. Now I'm doing this, relatively fast because this is my third time. But now I'm going to do, there's another piece of land, another one here, and another one there. Now we're going to put some mountains in, and I want to make sure, now this is important. Crayons, do you know what crayons are made with? They're made with wax. You can actually melt crayons down. I used to do, some of my older students will know, I used to do giveaways. I would take all my old crayons, not all of them, but quite a few. I would melt them down. And I had molds. I had like little dinosaurs and little stars or whatever. And I would melt them and make new crayons. And I would give them out as prizes because they're super cute. But I can't do that anymore. So I made all my lines, and they are nice and thick. Nice thick lines. So the mountains all the way in the background. They're very far away. And I made an element of art called space. Okay, space is important. Space is how you use the paper. I do not have my land down here. I didn't make teeny tiny mountains. I tried to fill the space, but leave a little bit of room, like 2 or 3 fingers from the top, maybe 4 for you guys. I'll break out like this. And that is where the mountains end. And I want the land, I have the land actually going up halfway, but because my mountains go up further, it works. Otherwise, I want my land a little lower or maybe a little higher. I do not want to lose my crayon, boys and girls, so you put it back in your art kit. Now, if you decide to use your Crayola crayons, that's fine. I told you before, you may want to switch those crayons out, especially if you have more colors. But I'm using the ones that came with the art kit, so you boys and girls know what it's going to look like. So now we're going to get to the fun part. We're going to get to painting. Before we paint, think of your brush as a ballerina. You never want to smash the brush. The brush is made up of fur or hair. I don't think this brush is, but this brush is probably, these are probably like plastic fibers. Okay. But really expensive brushes, this one's synthetic. I don't know if I had any that are real. I used to years and years ago. Synthetic. Well, I used to have brushes that were made with real. This one might be. Okay. So this is made with some kind of fur, usually sable. Sable's like a weasel. It's super expensive. So it's hair, okay? Hair. So think about it. If someone comes up to you and rubs real hard, you're gonna break all your hair, and then you be bald. Bald brushes do not paint well. She don't paint at all. And if you keep abusing the brush, see if I have abused brushes, but I use them for different things. So this brush used to have a point, and you can see it's not pointed, and you can see that some of the little now this, keep in mind, boys and girls, Miss M has had this brush for like this brush is older than you. Okay, let's just leave it that way. So this brush has seen better days, and you can see that there's little fibers sticking out. This brush will not work for watercolors. As a matter of fact, this is not a watercolor brush at all, and it works really, really well for my other types of paint. I paint with acrylics, and this is probably close to what this brush started out like. See how this brush is nice and pointy? This is a thick brush. This is not made with the fur, and it used to have a point like this. So this brush is like a year or two old, and this brush is like way older. Let's just leave it at that. So, but it's still a good brush for what I use it for, but it will not work for watercolors. You only have watercolors. You need a good brush. I hate to say it, but this brush is really good for glue. This is not good for painting. This is useless. I can't brush. You need a good brush. And I know for you guys who got, and some of these are flat, and some of these, this one happens to be round. You got these brushes. These brushes will work. They are Royal Langnickel. They'll work much better. It's going to work really well for what you're doing. This color and this color we will not use today. I'm going to repeat this. This color and this color we will not use. We are going to use the bright colors, the purple, orange, green, red. As a matter of fact, I'm going to show you, I made a sample sheet. This sample sheet is of all of your art materials. Here's the crayons, the markers, a lot of colored pencils. We'll do a colored pencil project next. And down on the bottom are your watercolors. For some reason, I have brown. This looks like, I don't know if this is a black or a dark green. We're not using the end colors. Anything in the middle, we're using this. All right. So I'm going to put my polar bear away because we're only doing the landscape, and you're going to need some paper towels. I should have told you, you're going to need paper towels or real, regular towels would work well if somebody has some towels. And I like to take some paper towel or napkin and I put that in some water. A little bit of water right here. It's all you need. I'm going to put my pencil away. I don't need that. I do need my brush. All right, so like I said, you do not want to bend the brush. This is the only brush you're getting for the year. You got to make it last till June. After June, whatever happens, happens. You might want to save this brush. This brush is not a bad brush. It's a perfectly good brush. You could do a lot of watercolor painting. You could buy a nice set of watercolors and have this nice brush for painting. So you want to think about, maybe I want to do warm colors in the sky and cool colors on, that's what we're going to do. We're going to do warm colors in the sky and cool colors on the ground. You could also flip it, but I'm going to do that. This way, warm colors are colors of the sun. What colors here look like the sun? I'm going to give you a minute. If you said red, orange, and yellow, you are correct. Those are sunshine colors. I am going to use those. So I'm going to demonstrate. So when I take my brush, and notice I'm twirling, okay? And then I'm going to just use the tip of the brush. I'm going to come closer. Bloop, 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 bloop. I am not pushing hard on this brush. Do not torture your brush. That brush needs to last until June, boys and girls. I'm going to rinse my brush. Twirl, 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 wipe the edge, and then I'm going to wipe it in my paper towel. I'm going to get some fresh water, and I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to twirl, 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 and put down some yellow. Now think about it. If these are sunshine colors, you got red, yellow, and orange, perhaps it's a sunset. I love sunsets, so beautiful. Perhaps twirl, twirl, twirl. Never scoop or dig. If you scoop and dig, you're going to ruin two things. You're going to ruin your paints. You only get one set of paint, and these are shallow at best. So you don't get that many colors. All right, so the mountains, I want to think about what colors I want to make the mountains. I said I want to do cool colors in the back. Perhaps I want to start with a purple again. Now this time, instead of making dots in the background, I'm going to go ahead and fill in. And you're going to notice that wherever there's crayon, the paint will not go over it. Crayons are made with what? We talked about this earlier. If you said wax, you are correct. They are made with wax. Wax and water do not mix. As a matter of fact, if you want to make something waterproof, like if you wanted to make a paper boat, if you cover it with wax, it's waterproof. All right, so I got a purple mountain. Let's go for another cool color. Perhaps I want a blue mountain. Look how pretty that blue is. Blue. Yeah, now I'm talking to myself. And baby, another purple. And there's a reason I'm doing this. The reason is, I'm just doing it. But I'm doing cool colors. Cool colors are colors with blue. So if you want to remember, warm colors are colors of the sun. Blue colors are colors of water. Look how blue water. If it's really deep water, it could be purple. And these cool colors almost give a feeling or a temperature. So they make a picture seem cooler. So if I was doing a picture of the Arctic, I would be using cool colors. If I was doing a picture of a desert, I would definitely use warmer colors. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm going to do some green over here. I have not used green yet. I should use more. Actually, maybe I'll do green. I'll do green here. Why not, right? Green, green, green. Yeah, we're going to do the green here. I should have done some more green. Now, you're going to notice I'm not putting too much water or paint in one spot, and there's going to be some wrinkling. The more wrinkling that happens, the more wrinkling that happens, the more of a chance there is of your paper ripping. What color should I put here? Oh, purple. Purple, silly. You need purple. There we go. Look how pretty that is. That's so pretty. All right, I'm not scrubbing. I know it looks like it, but what I'm really doing is being very light. You know what? Why am I bringing this up when I can do this? I'm going to come down here and show you. Really light on my paper. I never want to push more than that much. It sounds, I think I'm running out of paint too. I don't know how much more painting I can do with this set. That's silly. Okay. And this is the second time I'm doing this particular project. I have 2 sets of paint, one for doing my 3rd through 5th grade, and I have 1 set of paint for doing kindergarten through 2nd grade people. All right, so I want to stay on the tip of my brush. You never want to hold anything. See where this yellow part? This is where your hand can go. And I was actually holding at the end. Boom. So now, let's put this back into focus, people. Now that you're seasick, so now you're going to see that I have a beautiful landscape, and this landscape should look very familiar to you. So we're going to let this dry till next week. We're going to let this dry. And my recommendation, boys and girls, since I have my scrap piece of paper, I'm going to leave it in there. I'm going to leave this open for now. So find a safe place, meaning somewhere where nobody's going to touch it. The dog's not going to eat it. Your siblings aren't going to draw on it. Mom's not going to throw it. Whatever the case may be, find a safe place where this can sit flat and air dry. So it'll air dry until maybe tonight. And then tonight you can flip this closed and put this away. And remember that you are not using this paper for anything else but art, because if you run out of paper, you run out of paper, and if that's it, there's no more. There's no more. So we need to clean up. So you need to take your brush and you need to do a little swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. And you're going to wipe your brush. And make sure when you store your brush, I like to store my brushes in like a cup or a jar so they all stand up straight. And notice that all my brushes are pointy. I'm going to put this with the rest of my brushes that I've saved so it can dry. Make sure you're very careful. You dump that in the sink and make it go away. You might even want to come back and if there's any paint or water in there, give it a wipe. Wipey. If you have any paint on the outside, oh, another thing, be careful you do not mix colors. Now, in the classroom, sometimes Miss M would show you how to clean these if the colors are mixed. I would clean them myself, but I would buy a different brand of paint. This particular brand of watercolor, I don't know how it's going to hold up with you guys. I'm hoping well. Fingers crossed, I'm hoping well. You can see there's a little bit of paint that got on this. Just very gently keep your paint tray and your paint supplies nice and clean. Snap it closed, put it somewhere, maybe perhaps put it back in your bag, and keep this safe and sound for the next project, because I promise you we're going to do more projects with paint. Okay. Oh, make sure you send Miss M a picture in Seesaw of your landscape. I mean, look how beautiful this is. This is not done, but I still want to see it. I want to make sure that you did it. I want to make sure you did a good job. I want to make sure that you understand what we're doing. That's the bigger thing. So if there are questions, feel free to send me any questions. Even in Seesaw, boys and girls, you can just videotape yourself saying whatever you want. Miss M, this is mine. I worked really hard, but unfortunately I have a hole. I don't know, whatever. I have a hole in it. I don't know how the colors didn't turn out the way yours did. Of course, yours is going to be different, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, out of over 100 kindergarten through second graders, I expect over 100 variations of this. And all of them will be just fine. You guys do a really good job. All right, that's it.